Hey there, Tundra Nation, and welcome back to the channel. Today on Tundra Tactical, backed by popular demand and fueled by a comment section that's half whiskey and half wishful thinking, we are once again taking over the government. All right, I'm definitely on another watch list now. A little while back, BrandonHerrera, aka the AK Guy, announced that he's running to represent part of Texas and bring order to the circus that is the US Congress. Brandon's run has inspired us to nominate GunTubers for DC office because let's face it, if you go into the circus, why not send in the clowns? So sit back, grab a 2024 bumper sticker, and let's start the show.
Yes! That's awesome!
First up, we give the halls of justice a bit of a makeover, starting with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Now, this is the position to lead the highest court in the land and is appointed directly by the President of the United States. Now, in our first video in this series, we nominated Hickok 45, the Gandalf of guns, as our Commander-in-Chief. Well, it's time to suit up another gun legend. For Chief Justice, we're going to ask Paul Harrell to trade in his khaki field jacket for a long black robe. Paul Harrell is well known for his no-nonsense approach to firearms, his service to our country, and meat targets full of pork, oranges, and shrapnel. I mean, the guy can dissect a pork roast with a bullet better than a chef can with a cleaver. For somebody who is so revered in the firearms industry, we could honestly not think of a better choice. A judge with a gavel in one hand and a 38 in the other, well, that's the kind of balance that just screams
America!
New for 2023 is the Springfield Echelon. This striker-fired polymer frame pistol features Springfield's new variable interface system for mounting multiple optic footprints and the serialized cog fire control for inserting into multiple frames. Find out more at springfield-armory.com.
And by PWS. PWS is now offering their advanced BDE suppressors in 4 caliber options: 7.62, 9mm, 22, and 5.56. These suppressors offer revolutionary sound control, all while remaining lightweight and tough. They're easy to clean, easy to install, and easy to maintain. These suppressors are going to make shooting even better than it was before. Click the links down in the doobly-doo. Let's fill up some cabinet positions, shall we? First up is the Secretary of Education, a position needed about as much as tampons in the men's restroom. But as long as the department exists, let's use it to our great advantage. After all, most GunTubers started their channel as a way of educating others. Now, we did too, but it was pretty hard, so we just decided to keep on going so we could deduct the cost of ammo and whiskey on our taxes.
You do what you can.
With so many options to choose from, there is one man who stands out above all else, and that man, ladies and gentlemen, is Ian McCollum of Forgotten Weapons. I mean, the guy's like the Bob Ross of the firearms world, if Bob decided to straighten his hair. Ian spends most of his time teaching us about guns so obscure they make Bigfoot sightings seem common. Between his long hair, beard, and Ian's knack for resurrecting the interest in so many dead gun platforms, it's no wonder why his nickname is Gun Jesus. With Education Secretary McCollum, every child in America will now know math, science, and the inner workings of the FAMAS rifle. Bless me, FAMAS, for I have sinned. It's been at least 1 month since my last range trip. All right. We got a Pro 2A court and kids learning the real fundamentals. It's time to start changing the leaders at those alphabet agencies, am I right? Let's start off with the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You know, the ones who are watching us through our webcams right now? What's up, fellas?
Nobody likes you.
For the top spy, I mean, of course, director, we need a dude who's more about defending our rights than snooping our browser histories. Somebody with prior law enforcement experience, somebody that's a protector of our constitutional rights, and somebody who won't flag you for patriotic flags. And that means Jared Yanis of Guns and Gadgets is just the man for the job. I think this is a great idea because he's already known for keeping us up to date on the constant attempts to infringe our Second Amendment rights and causing the gun grabbers to fill their Depends diapers with last night's tofu dinner. Imagine an FBI that's less X-Files and more Expendables. The FBI is about to get a freedom facelift, folks, and that's with Jared's beautiful bald head leading the way. Next up is Scott from Kentucky Ballistics, a former police officer known for making fun firearms videos and blowing up targets and himself for our entertainment. Now, I would absolutely love to see the bourbon-loving state of Kentucky have a senator who doesn't freeze up like my PC while playing Cyberpunk 2077. The chat has demanded Kentucky Ballistics become the administrator of FEMA, or more professionally known as the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And I honestly cannot blame them. Scott came to his own rescue after a 50 cal blew up in his face by sticking a thumb in it. For his MacGyver-style rescue, he's earned the reputation for coming up clutch in a time of need, and we can all give Scott 2 big thumbs up for being the man in charge when disaster strikes. Next up, we're tackling the spookiest of the spook houses, the CIA. Yep, folks, that's right. It's the central, we've overthrown more governments than a game of Risk intelligence agency. Now, the CIA is the foreign intelligence service for the federal government, an agency known for spying overseas and countless conspiracy theories here at home. For this position, we need somebody with a history with the CIA, somebody with courage and intrigue, and somebody who is very interesting. Enter Shawn Ryan of Vigilance Elite and The Shawn Ryan Show. This dude is so interesting, he makes James Bond look like a librarian. Shawn's got a history in the shadows. He's the kind of guy that can get secrets out of a rock, and when it comes to extracting information, let's just say his methods are in fact interesting. For example, Shawn Ryan is so skilled at getting information out of people that this one time at a donkey show in Mexico. All right, Tundra Nation, let's move right on into the next cabinet position, the Secretary of Veteran Affairs. Woo-hoo! This one right now runs about as smoothly as Joe Biden on a bike. We're gonna need somebody that can do more than just salute. We need a real hero. There are many GunTubers certainly qualified for this position, but one name rises to the top, and that's Crispy of the YouTube channel Crispy11 Bravo. If you think about it, Crispy's got more real-world trigger time than 90% of the rest of the GunTube set, and his support of fellow veterans, well, it's like Rambo meets Betty White. Strong, supportive, and always ready to throw down on some commies. You know what I say we do next? Let's shake up the world's most glorified debate club, the United Nations. Now, they don't have a nativity scene this year at the UN, and that's not because of religious objections. It's because nobody could find 3 wise men and a virgin in the entire building. So, if you can't find any wise men, maybe another man isn't what the UN actually needs. Sitting pretty in New York, the birthplace of punk rock, the UN is begging for a Tundra Tactical makeover. No nonsense punk rock with a side of vintage pinup sass. Yep, that sounds like Liberty Doll to me, and who better to deliver this metaphorical Molotov cocktail of freedom than herself? She's not just any GunTuber either. She's a one-woman army for the Second Amendment news and freedom-loving fury. Imagine America's ambassador Liberty Doll strutting up to the UN ready to flip the bird to the world's most buttoned-up tyrants. She is the perfect blend of brains, grit, and badassery. Then there's the merchandising. I mean, just think of the entire Ambassador doll collection. It'll be like printing our own money. All right, Tundra Nation, it's time to help me tackle the Department of Homeland Security. The guys in charge of everything from making sure the borders aren't as porous as a sponge to ensuring you experience the unique joys of barefoot TSA lines. Ah, the smell of freedom, am I right? Now, I don't know any GunTubers with a foot fetish except maybe the Yankee Marshal, allegedly, but he's already off being our self-appointed ambassador to the penguins of Antarctica. So let's zero in on border security, where we need a tough-as-nails, no-nonsense guardian. Enter RTT Guns and Gear, a man who's as familiar with the scorching Southwest desert as he is with the business end of a firearm. Now, this silverback doesn't just review gears, he puts it through a trial by fire. And with a beard that screams Santa went tactical, he's the perfect one to bring order to the chaos. RTT for a Homeland Security, because nothing says Merry Christmas America like our very own Gata Claus securing the border like Fort Knox with a smile. All right, folks, let's talk about the Secretary of Health and Human Services for a minute. The person supposedly in charge of America's health. Judging by my last eye-watering experience through Walmart, by the way, that has not been going well. So who can we count on to get Americans to stop shoveling their faces full at Golden Corral and get out to the gym? It can only be our good buddy Fit and Fire. I mean, he's the Dan Cortez of GunTubers, known for covering topics ranging from firearms to fitness, and that just makes him the perfect gym rat for the job, because trust us, nobody wants to see your man boobs shake like you're holding a bowl of Jell-O in your shirt during a 9.1 magnitude earthquake after shooting a big bore revolver. Fit and Fire does have his work cut out for him, but he's an American, not an Americans. All right, Tundra Nation, strap in and listen up here. We're about to give the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD as it's often called, a little taste of military-grade renovation. And who better to lead this charge than the drill sergeant of dilapidation himself, Mr. Angry Cops. This is the guy who turns rundown crack dens into palaces with nothing but his hard work and sarcasm. Imagine HUD with Angry Cops at the helm, barking orders at bureaucrats like they just misplaced their PT belts. Picture him storming through HUD's office, just kicking in the doors of bureaucracy with a hearty, "Listen up here, guy." And let's not forget his spiritual advisor, Basement Jesus, the Lord and Savior of subpar living conditions. Together, they'd be the dynamic duo of development, turning every urban nightmare into a livable dream. With Angry Cops and Basement Jesus, it's not just about building houses, folks. It's about building homes, one cinder block at a time. All right, guys, you might not know this, but Congress has its own library, fittingly enough, called the Library of Congress. Maybe we can fix Americans by getting Congress the information they so desperately need. Enter the fat electrician. We're making him the head honcho, librarian of America. With the fat electrician in charge, it'd be like turning Oprah's book club into a boot camp. The Dewey Decimal System? No way. We're going with the Doomsday Decimal System. Every congressional request would be met with a grunt and a quack bang out. That, folks, is the America I want to live in. Picture this, folks. A congressman strolls in asking for a historical text. Well, there's the fat electrician handing them a comic book on military working dogs saying, "Here's the only historical information you need to know, pal. These pooches have more tactical sense in this whole building." Did somebody ask for a quiet study room? Well, he'd laugh and say, "You want quiet? Better join the Air Force then. It's basically a corporation with better coffee." Oh, that is a terrible, terrible impression of the fat electrician, but it's the one I've got. Under his rule, the Library of Congress becomes less about whispering in the stacks and more about how America stacks bodies. It's going to be a place where knowledge isn't just power, it's a full-blown tactical experience. Congress better be getting ready to pick up the knowledge this man is putting down. Tundra Nation, let's talk some governorships next, and not just any governorship. We're talking the big, juicy apple of California. Ah, California, the state that treats every gun owner like they're the plague on two legs. It's as if the Yemeni Houthis had a vendetta against cargo ships, but instead it's Cali against everything that goes bang. So who do we catapult into the governor's mansion to replace Gavin American Psycho Newsom? Enter Reno May, the man who's been defending the Second Amendment in California like he's the last Spartan at Thermopylae. This guy's YouTube channel isn't just a channel anymore, it's a full-on crusade against every gun-grabbing law the Golden State can throw at him. Reno May for governor, because if anybody can make California great again, or at least drag it into moderately acceptable, it's gonna be him. Sorry, Gav, time to pack up your Patrick Bateman cosplay and step aside. Reno's in town, and he's packing more than just opinions. There are still many excellent GunTubers to choose from for government positions, folks, such as VSO Gun Channel, KB32 Tactical, and Mr. Guns and Gear. So if you have any extra suggestions, make sure to comment down below, right after you subscribe. Merry Christmas, folks.